Recently, Netflix let it be known that Stranger Things was their most successful show, a fact to which the entire internet responded to with a resounding no duh. That's because Stranger Things is more than just another streaming show. It's a full-blown sensation. Season 4 could possibly be a long time away, but that has done nothing to stop the internet from wildly speculating about it. So let's investigate all of the best theories out there. Here's everything we think we know about Stranger Things Season 4. Let's start with the most obvious one here. We all know that Jim Hopper's still alive. Stranger Things 3 tried to throw us a curveball by seemingly showing the end of the Hawkins sheriff. While there were many out there who got teary-eyed over the scene, most immediately assumed that it was a fake-out. If Stranger Things was Star Wars, Hopper would be their Han Solo. This is a classic Frozen and Carbonite situation we got here. Sure, Hopper might be out for a moment, but he'll surely be rescued by the party at some point. The post-credit scene makes a reference to an American prisoner locked in a Russian jail. Smart Money says that means that Hopper has been captured by the Soviets. Still, with a sizable role in 2020's Black Widow, David Harbour is unlikely to be in every episode of Season 4. We may not be done with Hopper yet, but we're almost certainly going to get less of him. The end of Stranger Things 3 was much more bittersweet than normal. Joyce, Will, and Eleven moved out of Hawkins and far away from our other characters. There were a few references to a reunion, though. They mentioned Christmas more than a few times at the end of the series. This has made some speculate that Stranger Things 4 is going to be Christmas-themed, like 3's 4th of July theme. This would open up a plethora of great 80s Christmas movies to parody. Die Hard, Lethal Weapon, Trading Places, Home Alone. Yeah, that last one is technically a 90s movie, but it would be so great. And how perfectly would Gremlins match up with the whole Stranger Things dynamic? The theory goes deeper than just a Christmas theme, though. Some think that it was a reference to the release date. In the Stranger Things 4 teaser, the clock reads 12:30. Some think that this is a reference to the show's release date. Optimistic fans think that we won't even have to wait a year for a new season. There could be a new Stranger Things in December of 2019. The shooting schedule for the last season was pretty long, so it's possible that the show could have shot 2 seasons at once. Still, that seems extremely unlikely. The special effects alone take forever, and would make such a feat nigh impossible. It is still possible that the new season could arrive at holiday time next year. What better Christmas present could there be? The post-credits scene showed a new type of Demogorgon in Russia. This shows that the Soviets are doing more experiments with the Upside Down than just the ones we saw in Hawkins. You'd think scientists by this point would have figured out that messing with the Upside Down never goes well. Seems like our Hawkins gang might be going on a field trip to Soviet-controlled Russia. The teaser did say we're not in Hawkins anymore. You can't get much further from Hawkins than Russia. Though if you've seen Chernobyl, you know that 1980s Russia was terrifying, even without Demogorgons and Mind Flayers. The way they'll probably do this in the story is that they will find out that Hopper has been captured by the Soviets. It's unclear how they get there. Russia's not the easiest country to just take a flight to, especially not for people like Eleven and Joyce. They are definitely on some sort of government watch lists. It's possible that Eleven or one of the other children experiments will teleport them to Russia somehow. Crazier things have happened on the show. The teaser didn't show us a lot of things, but the few things it did were interesting enough to speculate. We've already touched on the clock, but it might have a different meaning. Perhaps the show is leaning towards one of the only sci-fi tropes it hasn't used so far: time travel. Are there any 80s movies that famously deal with time travel? Just kidding, it's time for a full-on Back to the Future style Stranger Things season. Would it be too much for the gang to travel back in time and see younger versions of Joyce and Bob? That's probably getting a little close to Netflix's other show, Dark. It's quite a lot like Stranger Things already, except more confusing and, well, darker. Traveling into the past may not be what Stranger Things is going for. Many have long theorized that the infamous Upside Down is actually Hawkins in the far future. Maybe we'll get an 11 from the future making a Terminator-style entrance into the past to save the future. I guess that would be more Terminator 2, actually. Still, it would be cool if this fan theory got proven right. And speaking of the Upside Down, we've seen a lot of glimpses of the Upside Down over the years, but we haven't gotten a lot of answers about it. Aside from wanting to escape it, we don't even know what the Mind Flayer really wants. This season, we might get answers. There's only one way to get those answers, too. We go into the Upside Down. While Will spent some serious time there in Season 1, he didn't collect a lot of information. He was mostly focused on just trying to survive. Maybe we'll get more if the team gets a full investigation into the alternate universe. All the efforts to defeat the Mind Flayer thus far have just served to stall his efforts. Maybe the only way to truly defeat him is to take it to his turf. It's also possible that Hopper isn't being held in a Russian prison at all. Maybe, like Will, he's trapped in the Upside Down. Perhaps Season 4's mission will concern the gang going into the alternate universe to rescue Hopper. If it's set during Christmas, you know what that means. Joyce Byers will be hanging some Christmas lights. In the ultimate throwback to Season 1, Hopper might communicate with her through the lights like Will did. I know there's practically no way that this is possible, but could they somehow figure out how to bring back Barb? She's definitely not alive, but it would be worth the suspension of disbelief for her to charge in while riding a Demogorgon. Pretty much everyone can agree on what the best part of the third season was. It was undoubtedly the moment when Dustin and Susie start singing the theme song to the never-ending story, as everyone else had that song stuck in their head ever since. When they did that, though, they introduced everyone to an instant fan-favorite character. This means that they have to put Susie into the story next season. You can't just give us such a wonderful character just to stick her on the sidelines. There were also some epic girl power moments in Season 3. Max and 11 became the most unlikely besties last year. It would be natural for Susie to jump right into the mix. The world always needs more 80s makeover montages like the one we got at Starcourt. At the very least, we'll almost certainly get another duet between her and Dustin. The power of love from Back to the Future seems appropriate. Season 2 of Stranger Things was mostly pretty awesome. That is, except for that one episode. The weird Lost Boys episode that didn't really fit with the rest of the show at all. In theory, an episode about another superpowered survivor from Brenner's experiments should have been awesome. Instead, it just felt random. They failed to properly integrate it into the season's story, and so it became the most skippable episode of the series. That's not to say that it won't be important in the future, though. Kali is a very interesting character. Instead of trying to have a normal life like 11, she's opted for a life of vengeance. She's hunting down the scientists from the Hawkins laboratory with no remorse. Seeing as Brenner is still out there, as well as other superpowered people, there's a lot of story yet to cover. Kali's return could provide redemption for her character, both in the eyes of 11 and the fans. Of course, she could end up being a pretty awesome villain as well. Maybe her plans to get revenge don't go in her favor. It's possible that she'll get brainwashed and forced to work for Brenner again. It seems unlikely, but a showdown between 8 and 11 would be pretty awesome. Kali returning would certainly be cool, but that's not the character from 11's past we want the most. The honor goes to the evil Dr. Martin Brenner. His story looked like it was done at the end of the first season. Then the show shocked us by confirming that he was still out there. This means that the only thing more evil in the Stranger Things universe than the Mind Flayer may be experimenting on other kids. 11 and the gang discovering this could prove to be quite the inciting incident to kickstart the season. Maybe the Stranger Things party has to journey to wherever Brenner's new lab is to stop him from destroying everything. It's possible that the lab could be in Russia as well. Perhaps the imprisoned American isn't Hopper at all, but Brenner instead. That would explain why the Russians knew so much about Hawkins in Season 3. Though you'd think he would have told the Soviets not to mess with those meddling kids. It was a bittersweet day when Stranger Things 3 dropped on Netflix. Sure, it was great to see the new season, but after binging it all in one day, you were forced to wait yet again for more. Luckily, the team behind the show wasn't done giving us Stranger Things Easter eggs. The best of which was Murray's secret phone message. Murray ended up being a much bigger part of the third season than anyone thought he would be. He got a new mystery to solve, another budding romance to fix, and a surprising Russian bestie. R.I.P. Alexei. I hope they have plenty of Slurpees in heaven, big guy. He ended up having one more surprise for us. The phone number he gives out in the show is an actual working number. If you call it, it gives you a message from Murray himself. You can hear him telling Joyce that he's found something and that he needs to talk to her in person. This could be how the next season starts. The best part of the Easter egg is that Murray yells at you at the end of the call. There's nothing more authentic than Murray yelling that you'll never find him. Stranger Things 3 sets up a lot of character arcs and completed almost all of them. 11 made a new friend and resolved her conflicts with Hopper and Mike. Dustin proved to everyone that he had a girlfriend. Joyce moved her family out of Hawkins. Oh yeah, and I guess they saved the world or whatever. One character journey didn't get completed though. To many Stranger Things fans, this might be the most important journey of the series. Steve Harrington's quest to find a girlfriend. Since Steve's days as the coolest guy at Hawkins High, he's fallen on hard times. Not only did he lose his girlfriend, but he also got beaten up by Billy. Then in Season 3, he was forced to wear that ridiculous outfit the entire time. He tried to flirt with girls at the mall, but his uniform really cramped his style. It seemed like Robin was going to be his love interest, but he wasn't exactly her type. That means poor Steve Harrington still stands as Hawkins' most underloved babysitter. Hopefully Season 4 fixes this grave injustice. Even Dustin has a girlfriend now. It's just getting sad, really. And there you have it, the very best Stranger Things 4 theories out there. What do you think's going to happen? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe.